There is a psalm that few know about, but it carries in its words a power capable of radically transforming your life. This is not just another biblical text. It is a spiritual key that opens doors in the invisible world, breaks chains of curses, and draws divine protection into your life in a way you have never experienced before. And today, at this very moment, when you decided to listen to this message, it is no coincidence. Heaven orchestrated this encounter because the time has come for you to learn this secret that has changed the lives of thousands of people around the world. I know you are tired of fighting alone. I know that feeling of waking up every day, carrying an invisible weight, as if something is always trying to bring you down, to keep you from prospering, from being happy, from reaching what God has promised you. Have you noticed how some things in your life just don't move forward? No matter how hard you try, it seems like there is an invisible force blocking your achievements, delaying your blessings, closing doors that should be open. And worse than that, you feel, even if you can't explain it, that there are times when evil seems very close, trying to strike you, trying to destroy what you love most. This psalm that I will reveal to you today is not known by most people because it carries such powerful spiritual authority that when you begin to declare it, the spiritual world is forced to move. Angels are summoned to protect you. Demons are forced to retreat. Doors of blessings that were locked begin to creak and open. And most importantly, a spiritual shield begins to form around your life, your family, your home, your finances. But before I reveal which psalm this is, you need to understand something fundamental. The Word of God is not just a book of ancient stories. Every verse, every declaration, every promise written there carries a spiritual frequency, a creative power that was established from the foundation of the world. When God spoke and said, "Let there be light," and light was made, He demonstrated that His words are not empty. They create realities, they transform situations, they break the impossible. And this specific psalm was written under such a powerful anointing at such a critical moment in biblical history that every word there is like a spiritual sword cutting through the darkness. You know that moment when you feel you need urgent protection? When you realize something bad is trying to approach your life? When you have nightmares? When you feel an inexplicable anguish? When things start going wrong in a way that makes no sense? Well, this psalm was made exactly for those moments. And when you start the month by declaring it, establishing this spiritual truth over your days, you are literally commanding the invisible world to align with God's will for your life. I know people who were on the brink of collapse, who had lost everything, who were being spiritually attacked in every possible way, and when they discovered this psalm and began to declare it every day, especially at the beginning of each month, everything began to change. It didn't happen overnight, but it was quick, it was real, it was supernatural, because when you align your mouth with the Word of God, when you decree what is already established in the heavens, the spiritual universe is forced to respond. Now, if you're expecting me to simply tell you which psalm it is and that's it, you need to understand that this is not how the spiritual world works. It's not about having a magic formula. It's about understanding what you are declaring. It's about having faith in what you are saying. It's about knowing the authority you carry as a child of God. Because many people read psalms, say prayers, but see no results. Do you know why? Because they don't understand the power that is in their hands. They treat the Word of God as if it were just a beautiful text, when in reality it is spiritual dynamite. This psalm I'm about to reveal was written by David, a man who knew like no other what it meant to face evil, a man who fought giants, who was pursued by kings, who went through deserts, who cried tears of blood, who had to flee to save his life countless times. But he was also a man who had such a deep connection with God that he could see beyond the visible. He understood spiritual laws. He knew how to activate divine protection. And when he wrote this specific psalm, he was in one of the most dangerous moments of his life. Picture the scene. David was being hunted. Enemies wanted his head. He had nowhere to run. He had no army. He had no palace. He had no security. All he had was his faith in God. And it was in this moment of absolute desperation, of extreme need, that he opened his mouth and began to declare words that would become one of the most powerful texts in the entire Bible. Words that not only saved him in that moment, but have saved, protected, and blessed millions of people over thousands of years. If you feel your life is under attack, if you notice forces working against you, if you're tired of seeing the same doors closing, the same problems repeating, the same difficulties returning, listen carefully to these words, because they can change everything. When you declare this psalm, you are activating a heavenly covering. You are summoning angels. You are opening the heavens over your life. And most importantly, you are telling the entire hell that it has no authority over you. Now I'm going to tell you something that perhaps no one has ever explained to you. There is a huge difference between reading a psalm and declaring a psalm. When you read, you're just skimming through the words. But when you declare, when you pronounce it aloud, when you speak with authority, something happens in the spiritual world. Your words become decrees, your declarations become spiritual orders, and everything around you is forced to adjust. This specific psalm contains 7 layers of protection, 7 levels of spiritual shielding that cover you, your family, your finances, your health, your dreams, your work, your relationships. And when you start the month declaring it, you are establishing a spiritual barrier that evil cannot penetrate. It's as if you're building an invisible wall around everything that belongs to you, a wall that can only be crossed by God's blessings. You know that sudden attack you suffer out of nowhere, that illness that appears without explanation, that financial problem that arises when you least expect it, that argument that starts for no reason, that deep sadness that overwhelms you without you knowing why. All these are manifestations of spiritual attacks, and most people live their entire lives without understanding that there is a war happening in the invisible world, a war that directly affects everything that happens in the visible world. But when you know this psalm and start using it correctly, you don't just defend yourself from these attacks. You go further. You counterattack. You reverse situations. You break generational curses. You close doors that were allowing evil to enter your life. And you open heavenly portals through which miracles begin to descend. Let me tell you something that happened recently. A woman came to me completely desperate. She had lost everything. Her marriage was destroyed. Her children were rebellious. She had lost her job. She was in massive debt. And worst of all, she felt such strong spiritual oppression that there were days when she couldn't even get out of bed. She had tried everything. She had been to several churches. She had made many prayers. But nothing worked. Until someone taught her this psalm that I will reveal to you today. She began to declare it every day. At the beginning of each month, she would wake up early before the sun rose and spend a full hour meditating on this psalm, declaring each word, each promise, each spiritual truth contained there. And in less than 30 days, she began to see changes. Not small changes, radical changes. Her husband, who had left home, returned. Her children began to change their behavior. A job opportunity appeared out of nowhere, and that oppression she felt began to dissipate like mist under the morning sun. But it didn't stop there. In the following months she continued with this practice, and every month that began with declaring this psalm was a month of victories, of achievements, of miracles, until she told me something I will never forget. She said she felt as if an invisible hand was guiding her steps, opening paths, closing bad doors, and opening good ones. She said that for the first time in many years, she felt peace, a peace that did not depend on circumstances, a peace that came from knowing that God was in control. And you know what the truth is? This was not an isolated case. This happens to everyone who discovers this psalm and begins to use it with faith, with persistence, with understanding. Because this is not just a beautiful text, it is a spiritual tool. It is a weapon of war. It is a key that opens dimensions of the supernatural. Now, before I reveal which psalm this is, I need you to understand something very important. When you start using this psalm, hell will notice. Demons that were acting freely in your life will begin to be cast out. Oppressive situations will begin to be broken. And this may cause a reaction. The enemy will not like losing ground. He will try to make you give up. He will try to plant doubts in your mind. He will try to distract you. He will use people around you to discourage you. But you need to stand firm. Because what you are doing when you declare this psalm is much bigger than you imagine. You are reclaiming spiritual territory. You are telling the darkness that it no longer has permission to act in your life. You are aligning your existence with the eternal purposes of God. And when you do that, when you persist in it, there is no force in hell capable of stopping you. Now, after preparing your heart, after you understand the seriousness and power of what I am going to share, the time has come to reveal which secret psalm this is. The psalm that breaks evil, that protects and that attracts miracles. The psalm that you must declare at the beginning of each month. The psalm that will transform your life. It is Psalm 91. Yes, you may have heard of it before, but I guarantee you have never understood the real power it carries until now. Because most people read Psalm 91 superficially, without understanding the prophetic layers, the hidden revelations, the decrees of authority that are there. This psalm is not just about protection. It is about dominion. It is about you taking possession of what God has already given you. If you have your Bible, take it now and open it to Psalm 91. If you don't, it's okay, because I will guide you through each verse, revealing truths that will make you see this text in a completely new way. And while I do this, I want you not just to listen. I want you to feel each word penetrating your spirit. I want you to allow the truth contained there to destroy every lie the enemy has planted in your mind. Psalm 91 begins like this. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. It seems simple, doesn't it? But wait. There is a depth here that most do not see. To dwell does not mean to visit. It does not mean to pass by from time to time. To dwell means to live. It means making God's presence your permanent dwelling. It means your conscience, your thoughts, your decisions, everything is anchored in God. And when you dwell in this place, something supernatural happens. You enter the shadow of the Almighty. Do you know what that means? It means you are so close to God that His presence covers you completely. Like when you stand under a huge tree on a scorching sunny day, the shadow protects you. The heat doesn't reach you, the sun doesn't burn you. In the same way, when you dwell in God, nothing that comes against you can touch you because you are covered by His presence. And then comes the second verse that changes everything. I will say of the Lord, He is my God, my refuge, my fortress, and in Him I will trust. Did you notice what's happening here? It's not God speaking. It's you speaking. It's you opening your mouth and declaring who God is. It's you establishing a spiritual truth through your words. When you say He is my refuge, you are shutting every door of fear. When you say He is my fortress, you are building a wall of protection around you. When you say in Him I will trust, you are cutting off every root of anxiety and worry. Your words are not empty. They create spiritual realities, and it continues. For He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. Do you know what a fowler's snare is? It's a hidden trap. You don't see it. You don't notice it. But it's there waiting to trap you. How many times have you fallen into traps you didn't see coming? How many times have you been caught off guard by situations that imprisoned you? This verse is saying that when you declare Psalm 91, God delivers you from these traps even before you fall into them. And perilous pestilence. These are spiritual attacks that come to destroy your health, your mental peace, your emotional balance. They are illnesses with no medical explanation. They are depressions that come out of nowhere. They are irrational fears that paralyze your life. But the psalm is saying that God delivers you from them, not when you ask. Now, the moment you declare it, deliverance happens. Verse 4 is one of the most powerful. He shall cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. This image is beautiful. God as a giant eagle, covering you with His wings, protecting you like a mother protects her young. And do you know what happens under an eagle's wings? Nothing can touch you there. Storms may come. Predators may arrive. But under those wings, you are completely safe. And there's more. God's truth becomes your shield and buckler. A shield is frontal protection, what defends you from attacks you see coming. A buckler is full body protection, what defends you from attacks you don't see. In other words, when you declare this psalm, you activate complete protection. A 360-degree shielding. Nothing can catch you off guard. Verse 5 is revolutionary. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day. Terror by night refers to nightmares, insomnia, spiritual oppressions that attack you when you are vulnerable, when you are sleeping. Arrows that fly by day are the surprise attacks that come during the day, the bad news, accidents, betrayals, disappointments. But the psalm is saying that you shall not be afraid. It's not that the attacks won't come. They may even try to come, but you shall not be afraid because you know you are protected. You know nothing can touch you. You have unshakable confidence because you are dwelling in God. And it continues in verse 6, nor of the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor of the destruction that lays waste at noonday. Now pay attention to this. Darkness represents everything you cannot see, everything that acts in the shadows, everything that is invisible to the natural eye. And noonday represents everything that acts in broad daylight, everything that is obvious, everything that is right in your face, but you cannot avoid. The psalm is saying that no matter where the attack comes from, you are protected. It doesn't matter if it's something hidden or something obvious. It doesn't matter if it's something spiritual or something physical. The covering that God places over you through this psalm is total and absolute. Verse 7 is amazing. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but you will not be struck. This means you can be in the midst of chaos. You can be surrounded by tragedies. You can be in a situation where everyone around you is falling, but you remain standing. Why? Because you are protected. Because you have a spiritual covering that others don't have. How many times have you seen entire families being destroyed by problems, but you were spared? How many times have you seen businesses failing, people losing everything, and you were preserved? This is not luck. This is not chance. It is the hand of God protecting you. It is this psalm being activated in your life, even if you didn't know it. And verse 8 adds, you will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. You will see God's justice being done. You will see your enemies being defeated, not by your hands, but by God's hands. Because when you are protected by God, He Himself fights your battles. He Himself brings justice to your life. Now verses 9 and 10 are where everything intensifies. Because you have made the Lord your refuge and the Most High your dwelling place, no evil will befall you, nor will any plague come near your tent. Do you understand what is being said here? No evil, no plague. It is an absolute promise, but it comes with a condition. And what is the condition? Making the Lord your refuge and your dwelling place. This is where many people miss it. They want God's protection, but they don't want to dwell in Him. They want the benefits, but they don't want the relationship. They want God to solve their problems, but they don't want to surrender their lives to Him. But it doesn't work that way. Protection comes from intimacy. Shielding comes from closeness. Miracles come from connection. And then come the verses that make the spiritual world tremble. For He will command His angels concerning you, to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. God is saying that He will command angels to protect you. Command, not ask, not suggest. Command. And these angels will guard you in all your ways, not just in some, not just when you are in church, all, at work, at home, on the street, when you are driving, when you are sleeping, when you are awake, always, all the time. Angels around you, guarding you, protecting you, lifting you up. And there is a part that many don't notice. They will lift you up in their hands. This means that when you are about to fall, when you are about to stumble, when you are about to have an accident, angelic hands hold you up. Have you ever been through situations where something could have gone very wrong, but inexplicably went right? It was angels lifting you up. Verse 13 is powerful. You will tread on the lion and the cobra. You will trample the young lion and the serpent. Here God is giving you authority over evil spiritual forces. Lion represents fierce and frontal attacks. Serpent represents treacherous and sneaky attacks. And God is saying that you will tread on both. You will trample underfoot. It won't be the devil treading on you. It will be you treading on the devil. It won't be evil dominating you. It will be you dominating evil. Because when you declare this psalm, you are taking possession of the authority that Jesus gave you. And this authority is greater than any force of darkness. And now comes the most incredible part of the psalm. The final verses are God speaking directly to you. It is no longer the psalmist describing. It is God declaring promises over your life. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. God is saying that because you love him, he will deliver you. It's not just a passive deliverance. It's an active, intentional, powerful deliverance. And more than that, he will set you on a high retreat. Do you know what that means? It means you will be elevated. Your circumstances will change, your status will change, your position will change. You will come out of the valley and go up to the mountain. And it continues, he shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. When you call, God will answer. Not maybe, not if he can. He will answer. And even if you go through trouble, he will be with you. He will not abandon you. He will take you out of the trouble, and then he will glorify you. He will honor you. He will exalt you. The last verse closes with a promise of longevity and salvation. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. God will give you long life, not just to live many years, but to live years with quality, with purpose, with meaning. And he will show you his salvation. You will experience the fullness of his presence. Now that you know every verse, every promise, every decree of this psalm, I need to teach you how to use it correctly, because one thing is to read Psalm 91. Another thing completely different is to activate Psalm 91. Every first day of the month, wake up early, before the sun rises if possible. Find a place where you can be alone without interruptions. It can be your bedroom, your living room, even your bathroom if it's the only place where you have privacy. The important thing is not the physical place. The important thing is the spiritual place you will create through your faith. Start by declaring your love for God. Tell him that you love him, that you trust in him, that you surrender completely to him. Do this sincerely, from the bottom of your heart. Because remember, the psalm says that God delivers you because you love him dearly. Then, start reading Psalm 91 out loud. Don't read in a hurry. Read slowly, meditating on each word, on each promise. And when you get to the verses that talk about you being protected, about no evil befalling you, about angels guarding you, stop and declare these truths over your life. Say, Lord, I decree that in this month that is beginning, no evil will befall me. I decree that no plague will come near my tent, my home, my family. I decree that your angels are guarding all my ways. I decree that I will tread upon the lion and the serpent. I decree that I will come out of trouble and enter into glory. I decree that this will be a month of victories, of miracles, of blessings without measure. And after declaring the entire psalm once, do it again, 3 times in total. Why? Because the number 3 is the number of spiritual confirmation. When you declare something 3 times, you are establishing it unshakably in the spiritual world. But don't stop there. Throughout the entire month, whenever you feel afraid, whenever you perceive an attack coming, whenever you become anxious or worried, go back to Psalm 91. Declare it again. Remind yourself of God's promises. Reaffirm your trust in him. There's a woman who told me that she printed Psalm 91 and put it under her pillow. Every night before sleeping, she read the psalm out loud. And she said that the nightmares that had tormented her life for years simply stopped. The nighttime oppression she felt disappeared. She started having prophetic dreams, dreams where God showed her the future, where he revealed strategies, where he gave directions. Another man told me that he was about to lose everything. His company was on the verge of bankruptcy. He had huge debts. He had no source of money. And someone taught him about the power of Psalm 91. He began to declare this psalm every day, especially at the start of each month. And in 3 months, contracts that had been stalled for years began to move. Money started coming in from unexpected sources. Opportunities arose out of nowhere. And today he not only saved his company, but is thriving like never before. You might think these are just stories, but I assure you they are not, because I lived it too. There was a time in my life when I was being spiritually attacked in a way I had never experienced before. I felt an evil presence following me. I had terrible nightmares. Bad things happened without explanation. Until someone told me about the power of Psalm 91, I started declaring this psalm every day. And it wasn't easy at first. The attack intensified. It seemed like hell had become furious because I was resisting, but I didn't give up. I kept declaring, and after a few weeks, everything changed. The oppression left, the nightmares stopped, peace returned. And more than that, I felt a spiritual strength I had never felt before. I felt I had authority, that I had power, that nothing could stop me. If you're listening to me now and are going through spiritual attacks, I want you to know you are not alone. There's a battle happening in the invisible world, but you have weapons. And Psalm 91 is one of the most powerful weapons God has placed in your hands. Some people ask me, but why this psalm specifically? What makes it so special compared to other psalms? And the answer is simple. Psalm 91 is the only psalm that speaks so directly and completely about spiritual protection in all areas of life. It's the only one that mentions angels being commanded to guard you. It's the only one that talks about treading on lions and serpents. It's the only one where God speaks directly, promising deliverance and glorification. Other psalms are powerful too. I'm not diminishing them. But when it comes specifically to breaking evil, to creating a spiritual shield, to attracting miracles through divine protection, Psalm 91 is unbeatable. That's why it's known among those who understand spiritual warfare as the Psalm of protection, as the Psalm of shielding, as the Psalm of angels. And there's an interesting thing many don't know. Psalm 91 doesn't have a title in some versions of the Bible. Do you know why? Because it's so powerful, so universal, so applicable to any situation that it doesn't need a title. It speaks for itself. Now I want to talk about something that might be hard to understand, but it's crucial. When you start using Psalm 91 regularly, especially at the beginning of each month, you're establishing a spiritual pattern. You're telling the spiritual universe that you live under God's covering. And that creates a frequency, a spiritual vibration. And this frequency attracts good things and repels bad things. It's like when you tune a radio to a specific station. You only hear what's being transmitted on that frequency. Similarly, when you live in the frequency of Psalm 91, you only receive what's compatible with the promises contained there. Blessings come in, miracles happen, protection manifests, and everything contrary to that is blocked. But you need to understand that this isn't automatic. It's not like flipping a switch. It's a process. It's a journey. You start by declaring the psalm, and gradually your faith grows, your confidence increases, your understanding deepens. And the more you declare, the more you see results. And the more you see results, the more you declare. It's a virtuous cycle of spiritual growth. I'll tell you one more story because I know stories touch the heart in a way theory doesn't. There was a young woman who was in an abusive relationship. She wanted to leave, but she was afraid. She prayed, but it seemed like her prayers hit the ceiling and came back. Until one day she discovered Psalm 91. She began to declare this psalm every day. And with each declaration she felt her courage grow. She felt a strength that did not come from her. Until one day, she simply left. She ended the relationship. And although the man tried to threaten her, tried to scare her, nothing happened to her. It was as if there was an invisible barrier he could not cross. She told me she felt the presence of angels around her. That in critical moments, when she was about to give in, about to go back, she felt as if someone was holding her, strengthening her, encouraging her. And today she is free. She is happy. She is rebuilding her life. And it all started when she discovered the power of Psalm 91. Now, if you're waiting for me to tell you that just reading Psalm 91 and that's it, all your problems will disappear overnight, I would be dishonest with you. That's not how it works. Psalm 91 is not a magic wand. It is a spiritual tool you need to use with faith, with persistence, with understanding. Some blessings will happen quickly, others will take a little longer. Because God is not only protecting you, He is molding you, He is working in you, He is preparing you for something greater. And every trial you go through while under His protection, every challenge you face trusting in the promises of Psalm 91, is making you stronger, more mature, more prepared for what God has for you. There are people who start declaring Psalm 91 and in a week already see miracles. Others take a month, others take longer. But one thing is certain, if you do not give up, if you continue declaring, if you keep your faith firm, you will see results. because God's promises do not fail. They may take time, but they always come true. And I need to warn you about something important. When you start living under the covering of Psalm 91, some things in your life will have to change. Toxic relationships will fall apart. False friendships will be revealed. Situations that are not healthy will end. And this may be painful at the moment, but it is necessary. Because God is cleaning up your life. He is removing everything that can hurt you, everything that can delay you, everything that can destroy you. Some people start using Psalm 91 and get scared because it seems like things get worse before they get better. But what is happening is that God is doing a deep cleaning. He is exposing things that were hidden. He is bringing to light what was in the shadows, so that you can deal with it, overcome it, and move forward free. It's like when you clean a messy closet. Before organizing, you need to take everything out, and for a moment it seems like the mess has increased. But after you finish, everything is clean, organized in the right place. So it is with your spiritual life when you start declaring Psalm 91 regularly. Now, I want you to write in the comments, "I receive the protection of Psalm 91," if you are determined to start this month declaring this powerful psalm. Because when you write, when you declare publicly, you are activating this spiritual truth over your life even more. You are telling the entire spiritual world that you have chosen to live under God's covering. And there is one more thing I need to teach you. You can and should declare Psalm 91 not only over your own life but over your family as well. Over your children, over your spouse, over your parents, over your siblings. Because when you are protected, those around you also become protected. Imagine this. You waking up every first day of the month and declaring Psalm 91 over your entire house, over every person who lives there, over every environment, over every project, over every plan. You are creating a spiritual atmosphere of protection. You are establishing a safe zone where evil is not permitted to enter. I know entire families that were transformed because just one person started declaring Psalm 91. A father who began declaring this psalm over his children and saw rebellious teenagers return to the right path. A mother who declared it over her alcoholic husband and saw him break free from addiction. Grandparents who declare it over grandchildren and see supernatural protection over children in dangerous situations. The power is not just in the text. The power is in the faith with which you declare it, in the conviction with which you speak, in the spiritual authority you assume when you open your mouth and say, "Thus says the Lord over my life." And if you still have doubts, if you're still wondering whether this will really work for me, I want to ask you a few questions. Have you tried everything and nothing worked? Have you gone to many places seeking help and found none? Have you prayed, cried, struggled, but the problems remain? So what do you have to lose by trying? Worse than trying, and it not working out, is not trying, and never knowing if it could have changed your life. Worse than having faith and being disappointed is living without faith and ensuring that nothing will change. Worse than opening your heart and taking a risk is closing your heart and slowly dying inside. This is the moment. This is the day. This is the hour that God set aside for you to hear about Psalm 91. It is no coincidence that you are hearing me now. Heaven orchestrated this meeting. And if you make the right decision now, if you start this next month declaring Psalm 91 with faith, with determination, with persistence, I guarantee you that your life will never be the same again. God will open doors that have been closed for years. He will break generational chains. He will heal wounds you thought would never heal. He will restore relationships you thought were lost. He will provide in ways you never imagined were possible. He will protect you from dangers you didn't even know existed. And more important than all of this, He will give you peace. A peace that surpasses all understanding. A peace that does not depend on circumstances. A peace that comes from knowing that you are in God's hands, that you are protected by Him, that you are under His wings, and that nothing, absolutely nothing, can separate you from His love. Now I want you to think with me. How many times have you been saved from something and didn't even realize it? How many times could you have died but didn't? How many times could you have lost everything but were preserved? Do you think that's luck? Do you think it's chance? No. It's the hand of God protecting you. It's Psalm 91 being activated in your life, even without you knowing it. But imagine what can happen when you know, when you understand. when you declare it consciously. The level of protection, of blessing, of miracles will be multiplied, because you will no longer just be passively protected. You will be actively participating in your own protection through your declarations of faith. There is a verse in Psalm 91 that says, "You will tread upon lions and serpents." Do you know what that means in practice? It means that situations that should destroy you won't even scratch you. People who should bring you down won't even reach you. Problems that should bury you will be under your feet. You will overcome everything that tries to stop you. You will walk through fire and not be burned. You will pass through waters and they will not drown you. Because you have a promise, you have a psalm, you have the word of God declaring that you are protected. And when the enemy comes, because he will come, he will try to make you doubt. He will try to make you think that nothing is working. He will use difficult circumstances to make you question God's faithfulness. But you need to remember what is written. You need to go back to Psalm 91. You need to read the promises again. You need to declare with even more strength. Because the battle is not yours, the battle is the Lord's. Your role is not to fight. Your role is to trust. Your role is to declare. Your role is to stand firm. And God does the rest. He sends the angels. He breaks the chains. He opens the paths. He performs the miracles. I want you to understand one thing. This is not just another video. This is not just another message. This is a decisive moment in your life. It's a turning point. It's the beginning of something new. And the decision is yours. You can ignore everything I've said. You can keep living the way you're living. You can keep fighting alone. You can continue without spiritual protection. Or you can make the wisest decision of your life. You can start next month by declaring Psalm 91. You can come under God's covering. You can activate heavenly protection. You can summon the angels. You can trample on serpents. You can break evil. You can attract miracles. The choice is yours, but I'm going to tell you something. I've already chosen. I've already decided. I've already experienced it. And that's why I'm here telling you. Because I know it works. Because I've seen it with my own eyes. Because I've lived it myself, and I want you to experience it too. So now in the comments write, "I will declare Psalm 91 every day this month if you are committed, if you are determined, if you are going to make it happen." Because this public declaration is a commitment, not just to me or to whoever sees you writing it. It's a commitment to God. It's you saying, "I choose to live protected. I choose to live blessed. I choose to live under your covering." And when you write that, when you make that declaration, something will happen in the spiritual world. Angels will take their positions. Demons will retreat. Doors will start to move. Because you're not just writing words. You're prophesying over your own life. You're decreeing your future. You're establishing a spiritual reality that will manifest in the natural world. And in the next 30 days, you will start to see things change. Small things at first, then bigger things. Until you will look back and realize that your life is completely different, that you're on a completely new level, that you've come out of darkness and entered the light, that you've come out of defeat and entered victory, that you've come out of fear and entered faith. And 1 year from now, when you look back, you will remember this day, this moment, this decision, and you will thank God for placing this psalm in your path, for revealing this secret to you, for opening your eyes to the power that was available but you didn't know about. But none of this will happen if you don't act, if you just listen and do nothing, if you agree but don't apply. Because knowledge without action is useless. Information without transformation is empty. You need to take what I've taught you and use it. You need to declare, you need to believe, you need to persist. And there's one more thing I want to tell you before I finish. Psalm 91 is not just for you. It's for you to share. It's for you to teach. It's for you to spread. Because when you share this knowledge, when you teach others about this powerful psalm, you're multiplying the protection. You're expanding God's kingdom. You're rescuing lives. How many people do you know who are suffering spiritual attacks? How many people you love are going through difficult situations? How many people do you see every day who are living without spiritual protection because no one ever taught them this? You can be God's instrument to bring this revelation to these people. So after you start declaring Psalm 91 and start seeing the results in your life, share it. Tell people. Teach what you've learned. Be a blessing in others' lives, just as this message is being a blessing in your life right now. End. If this revelation about Psalm 91 has deeply touched your soul, share it with someone who urgently needs spiritual protection, deliverance from evil, and supernatural miracles. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so we can build an army of faith under the leadership of Jesus Christ.